Something that's different for us is that we are laser focused on having a documented strategy and plan in place. Now, every agency and most companies have their initial strategy. For us, we decided to put it into a format that's as easy to translate and articulate as possible and put it out in the universe and not just hold it close to the vest. We want every client or any company to arrive at their own version of a digital marketing success plan to implement.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Corey Morris, owner, president, and CEO at Voltage. Corey, how are you today?
I'm good. Excited for our conversation.
Me too. I appreciate you spending some time with us on Business Ninjas. Please tell us a bit about yourself and about Voltage.
Yeah, so I am on the 20th year of my career as of this week, and it's also the 20th anniversary of Voltage this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I didn't have a typical entrepreneur route, so I actually started out my career as a project manager before in a digital shop, but didn't go to school for that 20 years ago. And found my way, and that was before everything was open source and WordPress or anything else. Found my way into SEO within a couple of years, and found my passion really there. As I working my way up in agencies, ended up in Voltage in 2013, and over time worked through a plan to succeed one of the original co-founders and became the owner. After kind of running things day to day, and I've owned it for a few years. Over that time, we started way back in the day as a creative shop, and we were doing a lot of traditional design and creative work, added web, and then added digital marketing when I entered in 2013, and over time became a digital shop, and even further narrowed what we do into just digital marketing and websites, and even under that digital marketing umbrella, niching down into search specifically, and SEO and paid search, and obviously all that's woven into AI and everything else now. But that's kind of the journey. Yeah, we've had a bunch of different milestones, and my career now is more aligned on where we are with Voltage than kind of where it was even 5 years ago.
Well, hey, 20-year run in the digital era is, like a 50-year run back in the day, I think.
Yeah, I try to not look back and at some of the things we were doing 20 years ago.
Hey, if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're not paying attention, right? So what verticals do you service? Who are your clients? Is there a typical size of business or industry that you work best with?
Yeah. So what's interesting in how we approached niching down and specializing a few years ago was we started actually with our service lines. And that's where we went from about 12 things we did, and we were a full service integrated agency trying to do everything for everyone, down into the things that we feel like we do best, that we would go up against anyone in North America on, which would be search and web. So we haven't necessarily planted a flag and said we are all about this one industry, but you'll find some case studies and pockets of commonality with some areas of healthcare, or with transportation and logistics, or even some tech service companies. But one common theme is it seems to be that a lot of clients that we work with are service companies looking for leads and lead generation, and quality, not quantity. So looking for, a handful of high quality leads with a lot of thought leadership and longer sales cycle, then I need 50 leads and I need them all to close tomorrow. So full funnel kind of development. So that's where I'd say there's probably the biggest commonality, but we've got some great e-commerce clients. We have some B2C nonprofits as well.
Excellent. What are the most common problems you're solving for these clients?
Yeah, whether it's I don't have enough leads, um, the leads are crap, or I need the leads to be cheaper. I mean, those three categories, for anyone who's focused on lead generation, but a lot of that also applies if we're looking at e-commerce or even nonprofit, where you're looking for different goals there of, not enough volume, not enough quality, or too expensive, and to dial that in and create a plan around that.
I think you just described every business in America.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I mean, hey, the reality is some people craft content just to get clicks, but raw clicks require your attention and they're not focused and they're not really potential clients. So now the cost per acquired client has just gone up and you're wasting lots of time. So no, we preach people to be as focused as possible. Sounds like you have the same approach.
Well, and especially right now, while we're seeing, the massive, the obvious one is the disruption in SEO and in organic traffic, where we have some clients who are seeing less traffic overall, and thankfully, my team's doing a great job, and we're not seeing a drop off in terms of conversions. So some of that vanity, some of that, lower value traffic, maybe got pared down in some of the changes, and some of the of search behavior, as well as AI overviews and the things that are taking search traffic away. But equally disruptive are the amount of changes in Google ads and everywhere else too, right? We're fighting a similar battle, different ways, but fighting a similar battle, to get the same traffic that you were getting yesterday at the same price even. So there's a lot going on there. And for anyone who wasn't focused on quality, now it's rearing its ugly head in terms of the need to focus on what's converting and not the vanity metrics or the fluff that was on top.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, logically speaking, AI has to connect the dots in a more accurate way than just a broad search. Yeah, Google's algorithm is super strong and it gets it right. But when you add more brain power and context to the conversation, then the results have to be more laser focused. So again, raw traffic might look nice on a dashboard, but what does it do for you at the end of the month when it's just people clicking on your website and going back to their lives at the end of the day? What's the biggest differentiator for Voltage? What makes you guys stand out from your competitors?
Something that's different for us is that, we are laser focused on having a documented strategy and plan in place. Now, every agency and most companies have their, initial strategy. I hope. I mean, I still encounter some where it's like, here's a set of tactics. We're just going to be off and running. But for us, we decided to put it into a format that's as easy to translate and articulate as possible, and put it out in the universe and not just hold it close to the vest. So I actually wrote my first book that came out last year called the Digital Marketing Success Plan. That's what we call it. We want every client or any company to arrive at their own version of a digital marketing success plan to implement. But we have a 5-step start, and it's an acronym, start planning process that you work through to get to that plan. And so again, 24,000 words, I didn't hold anything back. I gave it away, for 10 or 20 bucks on Amazon. And through all the content that we share, instead of worrying about competitors or somebody implementing on their own. I want that. I want you to take it and run with it, because there's so many stories. In fact, I unpack a bunch in the book, change names so I could be ultra transparent in terms of how it all played out. But so many stories of prospects or even clients that get to me and they've been burned by an agency, burned by, what they thought they were getting in hiring an in-house team or a collection of partners, and started with tactics, good things, but good things out of context of an initial strategy and goals, and even taking those digital marketing KPIs and mapping them to business outcomes. I mean, so many different issues that happen when we just jump in or we don't have a full plan documented.
Hey, rising tide lifts all boats. So I thank you for putting the positive energy into the marketplace. So, that everybody can lift up their socks and we'll get to the finish line together. Switch gears for a second. Tell me about the challenges and opportunities of growing your business through the pandemic.
It was an interesting time for sure where we had gotten to a pretty good spot in terms of stability, growth. We were on a great growth pattern where we had grown 60%, 50% back to back years, and got margins finally to a point where we were, scaling, but able to reinvest and have some dollars to put back into the business. And so, over the course of that first week of everything kind of shutting down, we watched all of that evaporate. About 20, we were at about 28% margin. We watched 23% of our monthly recurring revenue pause or scale back overnight. And so that was a lesson for us to go dig in deep and not go try to convince clients to keep spending money if it wasn't wise for their how they were impacted, but to look at both short-term and long-term strategies and ways to pivot. Like if you're not going to sell 100, for a manufacturing client who sells expensive equipment for factory floors, if you're not going to sell, nobody's going to buy $150,000 piece of equipment, but they're going to need more maintenance because they're going to try to get more life out of the existing. Well, let's shift our focus in terms of marketing over to the maintenance side and know that the new equipment sales will boom when things get better, right? And capital budgets open back up. So through some of that, and also not taking our foot off the gas and being positioned well in search engines and everywhere else, after a few weeks, something magical kind of happened. A lot of people I'd talked to for a couple of years in different sales cycles who were just too busy to think about their marketing as they were on the road running their business were sitting at home and had time to think. When they weren't impacted and realized that their business was still in a good place, it opened up new projects and new opportunities for us. So we ended up actually, even though we lost 20 something percent, within 10 days, that year we ended up just over 30% in terms of growth year over year still, based on staying, kind of disciplined on what we were doing and seeing the opportunities and seizing them with our client partners.
Nicely done. Hey, every problem is an opportunity. It's all about perspective. And, not every small business had, the reserves to stick it out and to be able to be forward thinking like that. But, we all had to pivot. So nicely done. I'll throw you a marketing lob. What role has content played in the growth of Voltage?
Yeah, so content marketing became a trendy term, right? Probably, and some of that was the rise of social media, which was even prior to that. Some of it was due to a lot of big changes in search algorithms that rightfully took focus off of keywords and put it onto context and topics. I've never really used the term content marketing because it's not really a channel itself or a platform, kind of like digital marketing is not a channel or a platform. It's an umbrella term. But where digital marketing is more of an umbrella integrating term, content to me is not in that same context. It's actually what I call fuel for all those channels. And so I have a big focus in anything that I do for me or for my companies or for clients to create what cornerstone pieces of quality content and then be able to use them in multiple channels. And it obviously make sure they're adapted and right contextually for the platform or for the channel. So it's not just copy paste everywhere, but making sure that you're looking at how you're investing in it. You're not so channel specific and siloed that there's no brand consistency or messaging consistency across them, but that they're working together and you're investing in a wise way in that fuel again that goes out there and delivers performance for all of those channels under the digital umbrella.
That is an excellent answer, I have to say. All right. Look down the road a year from now. What are some things you'd like to be celebrating personally and professionally?
Personally, it's going to be exciting to toward the end of the year have our 20 20-year anniversary celebration for Voltage, and I've got a client who it'll be our 10-year of working with them this summer, and so a chance to just celebrate my team and celebrate our clients. So I'll be on the back end of that when we get into next year, and really industry wise, I'm excited with how much we've adapted to change over the past just year alone. And I'm excited for where we're going. We're in the weeds with the changes that are happening. We've got our it's not public yet, but our new SEO POV. I think it's going to call out some of the people who are trying to pivot too fast, but it's also going to call out people who are going to get left behind in a polite and respectful and professional way. But, as we continue to evolve our processes and where things are going in a more diversified world of search or being found, essentially, that's going to be important to us. And I'm looking forward to a year from now, what that looks like.
Excellent. Please tell us, what's your URL? Where can people find Voltage, and what social media outlets are you using as well?
Yeah, so Voltage for the agency is voltage.digital. That's simple. You can check out what we're doing there. And if you're interested in anything related to the book and the start planning process, that's a long title, Digital Marketing Success Plan. So I've shortened the URL to the dmsp.com. So if you go there, you'll find the framework, you'll find the book, you can reach out. If you reach out either place, you're not going to get sold stuff. We're happy to talk and see if there's anything we can do to help you. And the DMSP website has some tools and has a link over to Amazon as well. And on social, we're big on LinkedIn. That's probably the best place to find us, and love to connect.
Excellent. Corey Morris, thank you for spending some time with us on Business Ninjas. All the best to you and yours. Congratulations on your 20-year anniversary there, and continued success at Voltage.
Thank you, Andrew.
My distinct pleasure. Be well.